Hey, look, Kristi Noem has not ingratiated herself with half of the populace of this country, so I'm gonna reserve the right to make jokes about her killing her dog. More seriously, has she full on admitted it? More seriously, hello there. It's the CyberDudes podcast with the news for up to 25th of November. That's my European brain getting the date and the month the wrong way around. With the news up to 25th of November 2024, I am once again Robin Thornton. He's still Omar Sangarima, I think. Are you?
Today, yes.
Yeah, today. What days are you not?
That's I think for a podcast for CyberDudes After Dark. I think we can. That's for a different podcast.
Someone else on the holidays. There's one coming up.
Yeah. Listen, if there's any days I wish I could be someone else, maybe for some of the family stuff, probably holidays.
I think we all endeavor to be somebody with fewer political opinions whenever it's
100%,
Thanksgiving or Christmas.
All day. I'm getting the happy dads or the high noons ready for just to not care, right?
Oh, do you know what's really good for not caring? The Cutwaters, and which one is
it?
The mango margarita.
God bless you, sir.
Have you on your arse.
Yes.
Very quickly.
Yes.
Extremely strong.
Yep.
Okay. Shall we get into the news? All right. So first today we've got a new ultra secure phone carrier says it can make you harder to track. Cape's privacy-focused service comes with a pre-configured Android phone and aims to minimize data collection. That is from The Verge. That article does also mention, however, this is a bit of a VIP kind of service or carrier really geared towards the politicians, journalists, activists, people of that sort of ilk. Effectively, anybody who might be the target of some NSO Pegasus spyware. Another story here, 60% of emails with QR codes classified as spam or malicious. This is coming from infosecuritymagazine.com, and it's according to research from Cisco Talos. Also uncovered with this was the fact that despite comprising only 1 in 500 emails, QR codes are disproportionately successful at bypassing email filters. As the exodus from the social media platform formerly known as Twitter continues, Blue Sky hit with crypto scams as it crosses 20 million users. As more users flocking to Blue Sky from social media platforms like Twitter, so are the threat actors. Bleeping Computer has spotted cryptocurrency scams popping up on Blue Sky just as the decentralized micro-blogging service surpassed 20 million users this week. It doesn't really surprise me, all of this, especially given that the price is, it's a hair, it got $150 off touching $100 grand.
100, yeah. And
which is incredible.
I don't think you're not really a social media platform until you're the host of some sort of crypto scam. So it's a coming of age party for Blue Sky, Mazel Tov, Jack Dorsey, which is a phrase I never thought would come out of my mouth, but here we are.
It's phenomenal. It's phenomenal how quickly it has grabbed the user base. Although, I mean, we also saw this with Mastodon. We saw it with was Telegram one of them, or is it Signal? Or because I can never remember which ones are the messaging apps and which ones are supposed to be the pseudo social networks.
Telegram and Signal are both the messengers, in my opinion. And Telegram's the one that just got in trouble, right?
Yes. Oh, yeah. And then it was Mastodon that was sort of like the Discord / Twitter hybrid, which seems to have kind of fallen a bit flat. Like nobody's talking about it anymore.
It was funny. I was just talking to one of my friends the other day, and I mentioned, he said, "Hey, I'm out of the loop. Have you heard of Blue Sky?" And I don't know if they're still doing where you have to get invited. But I got a link a while ago, and I told him as much, right? Like, hey, I got a link a while ago, but I'm the old man, stay off my lawn type guy now, because I refuse that. I refuse to really. I tried Mastodon for a little bit, and then he goes, "Oh shit, I got to get up on my stuff. I don't even know what Mastodon was. I had to Google it." I'm like, "Listen, I'm not trying to. I'm telling you, like, I gave up on Snapchat. That's where, unless it's directly related to my job, I'm not keeping up with any of that nonsense anymore." So
I'm kind of, I have to admit, I do feel as though I'm sort of getting to the age whereby if your homepage, your like service homepage doesn't very clearly articulate what it is that your platform does, I kind of just dismiss it. I'm just like, I don't really care about that. Like, Twitch, oh, how is that much different from YouTube, except for the fact that it seems to be just exclusively geared towards gaming and and that, and it's just like, I just don't care.
Isn't there
what is Kick? Oh wait, no.
Yeah.
No, Kick's been around for a while, I think.
Oh, see, like that's how out of touch I am. I saw it advertised on the last UFC, and I was like, "Oh, what the hell is this?" And I said, "Nope, it's over." Like I don't got bandwidth for that.
I think Kick is where some of the more naughty conversations were after all of that crap got kicked off Tumblr. I think that's kind of where that went. Yes.
Oh, so what it was, and now walk me through really quickly. Tumblr tried to go safe for work, and then it lost money, and then it went back to what it used to be, or no?
Oh, I don't know. My understanding was, or I thought that like Tumblr was trying to pitch for like IPO and didn't think that they could do it with spicy content on there, and Reddit has just completely blown them out of the water with saying like, no, that's dumb. Like sex sells, just keep it. It doesn't matter. And I think that was, I mean, it's the Avenue Q thing. The internet is for porn, and since Tumblr decided that they weren't for it, they are now irrelevant.
Yeah. So Avenue Q, or in Spanish, Calle Ocho for our Spanish listeners there. Yeah, exactly. Red light district type, bumping off place in any city across country.
Yeah. Moving on. I don't want to linger too much on that.
I walked us into a bad part of the neighborhood. Let's drive away.
Part of the neighborhood in more ways than one. I just didn't really know how to go with it. Story, two very quick ones in over and above what we normally have. One off the back of what your spotlight story from last week: surge in DocuSign phishing attacks targeting US state contractors. That's another one from Info Security magazine. So yeah, kind of par for the course. Where something shows to be working, it will continue to be adopted by the threat actors. Another one: Stop and Shop races to restock shelves after cybersecurity issue. I'm not going to go into too much more of this because of Wall Street Journal's bloody paywall. But I think this is one of those things that just goes to show there's far more complex issues that cause your egg prices as opposed to just who is in the White House.
And that was one that I actually shouted out to my wife, because it is the season to be, and this was the weekend before Big Turkey Day in the States. And hey, gotta go. There's
nothing on the shelves.
Can't be messing with no Stop and Shop, sadly.
Oh, that makes an awful lot of sense. My wife asked me to get some macadamia cookies, and they were completely cleared out. I thought somebody had just like absolutely blitzed the shelves. But I mean, honestly, like, do you want to know what the irony of this whole sort of like Stop and Shop having a cyber issue, so not being able to get their stuff out to the stores, is my local one is constantly out of like fresh produce. Cannot get scallions or spring onions to like save your life on a normal day. There's just a dearth. It's as if they think that they will only sell like 3 bunches per day, and they immediately run out, and it drives me insane. And I'm spending longer on this story than I wanted to. But then this during this cybersecurity issue, it's as if they have a frigging allotment out the back, and they've just been growing it themselves. So ironic, really. But everything, my local one, everything else more or less, like, was all stuff on the shelves. I didn't notice, aside from the dearth of cookies, I didn't notice anything amiss. So it was kind
We
of odd.
didn't-
But they've given me
yeah,
a
we
$10
didn't pop
coupon
in.
for it. So
There you go.
yeah. Okay, let's get off that. Me having a rant about supply chains and,
Exactly.
and spring onions.
If you say so, Haas, I have no opinion.
Well, see, this
on
is
that
one
side
of
the story.
okay. This is all right. We're gonna linger on this a little bit longer. This is one of those things that so I heard Chris Williamson talking about this on his podcast because he's a Brit who's moved over to Austin and he's talked about like recently he's been quite open about difficulties and issues that he's had just in general, like in life, you know, things like confidence, health, environmental issues and stuff like that. But also one of the things that he said was like the culture change. And I mean, I've been here, I've been in the States for about nearly 10 years now. And it was, I knew exactly what he said when he said, when you go to an Anglophone country or when you go to a country that has the same language as where you're from, the cultural shift isn't really there to begin with, and it kind of just creeps up on you, and then suddenly it's like oh shit, I am a long way from home in a lot of cases. And yeah, it's just weird. And things like, you know, some of the vocabulary type things like scallions versus spring onions, eggplants versus aubergine, courgette versus what's it called, what's the cucumbery one?
Zucchini.
Zucchini, that's the one. Those things, like, those are probably the most consistent reminders of, because I will just say what I am used to, what I grew up with, and then people look at me like I'm an alien. It's very odd.
You know, listen, I was, again, because it's not, I don't have any skin in the game. You call it whatever the hell you want.
Your audio has gone a bit funny.
Oh, really? How about now?
Oh, it dropped out very briefly.
Okay, my bad.
Never mind. Yeah, we'll leave that in. It's organic. Okay, spotlight stories. What have we got for today? I saw North Korean crypto scammers. Tell me more.
It's really your Sunday's not complete without talking about the DPRK, in my opinion. Lovely place, great weather, awesome food.
What's Kim up to today?
No way. Boiling political dissenters and trying to figure out how to unpornify the soldiers he sent to help
really?
Russia. Oh, they're going bananas. Their fighting readiness is actually lessened as a result of the amount of porn that they're consuming. Poor chaps have never been around an unrestricted internet, and God bless them.
Yeah.
Right? Starlink is helping them out.
Maybe he's going to put them in front of an anti-air cannon like he did that one general.
Hey, I mean, non-credible defense would say that it potentially might be a useful strategy, right? One of my favorite Reddits during this entire debacle in the Ukraine. Yeah. But in this particular story, what I love is the multi-layered ridiculousness here. Now, let's take a step back.
Well, tell you what, give us the headline first, because
exactly. North Korean hackers steal 10 million with AI-driven scams and malware on LinkedIn. What did I mention? I don't keep up with those damn Snapchats and that Mastodon, right? But the one social that I'll allow is, the humble brag place that I love to go to, which is LinkedIn, humble brag central.
The one with the most cringe content on it.
1000%. Another one of my favorite Reddits happens to be LinkedIn Lunatics. Shout out to /our LinkedIn Lunatics. Now, so there's just so much to unpack here, and I'll try to buzz through it as quick as I can. You have a country that's been excised from the international banking system because they're a bunch of lunatics that like to spend all their money not on feeding their people, but on making nukes to threaten their neighbors. So there's that. What's going to happen when you put obstacles like that in front of a country? They're going to figure out how to get their hands on some sweet, sweet ducats in some form or fashion, which is why they've, I think, spent so much time to up their hacking capability, right? They're not conventionally able to go blow for blow with folks. They're trying to sort out the nuclear thing. But one of the places where I would consider, I think you would agree, that they're top 10, maybe even top 5 in some instances, is in the cyber warfare arena. They are no joke when it comes to this sort of thing, and they're very specifically focused not on a lot of disruption so much as maybe China, right, with the geopolitical implications there. They're about the dollar bills, yo. So one of the ways that they like to do this is and that's, I think, gaining prevalence, because we had that story with the KnowBe4 IT worker
Yes.
who ended up being a DPRK affiliate there. And this is kind of in the similar vein, because what I loved here was it's a multifaceted sort of scam. You know, the innate pirate in me does admire some of the long cons that some of these people play. Here, it's two fronts. You have straight up.
Yeah. There's
Yes,
multiple layers to
this
it.
is exactly. This is, spring onions, right? This is that spring onion that you can peel back. And so you have straight up just impersonating IT workers, which is pretty damn lucrative so far. If this story is quoting something in the realms of like $400,000 that they've been able to scam off of, again, impersonating and getting paid for IT work, I think that number, we can easily double it. That's just my tinfoil hat. If you can confirm 370, you can easily go up to 700. Why not? So you have that front. Now that piece of this scam is a little disheartening on its own, because it necessitates that there's some sort of facilitator involved, and that facilitator has to be somebody in the home country or in the target country, or the country where,
or nearby,
exactly, where the job is based, so that you can't raise any flags and you pass by all the normal checks that a lot of employers go through to make sure that you are not international criminal type person that's applying, and especially the enhanced checks that a lot of these employers are going through, because they're remote workers. It's not as though everybody's as trusting. COVID's taught us you have to double check, but it even gets through there, especially with, you have people on the inside. Essentially, those facilitators allow, rent out their IP addresses. They sign some documentation. They might even go so far as to get some fake documentation to help out their Korean nefarious brethren here. Get a little piece of the action, of course, for their trouble. And there you go. You have an ecosystem built to scam folks that are in dire need, obviously, of remote IT support. So that's one aspect of it. Another aspect here, though, which focuses on the LinkedIn angle of it, is really and especially now, this is why it drew me here, was when it's a tough labor market as it is, and you're posing as potentially a venture capital firm that's going to invest in a small business, or an employer who's saying, hey, validate some skills. We have a portal that'll make you stand out to employers out here in LinkedInville. And then, of course, it just breaks down and it's not a real portal. You're putting in your credentials is one aspect of it. Another aspect is straight up, hey, the portal doesn't work. Let's help you with some IT support. And the IT support is a Trojan horse, essentially, depending on, with a customized payload, depending on if you're a Windows machine or a Mac enthusiast, and you're off to the races. And we're crypto jacking you, right? We're mining stuff on your behalf. We're stealing wallets. Like, this is a robust, and I want to stress, sophisticated level of scammery that really, you can think of, and we can make jokes about DPRK all day for many reasons, and having been there, I can validate a lot of them, but they are actual legitimate players in this space, and they're not to be taken lightly.
No, absolutely not. So I noted down a few things here. Like number one, I mean, depending on what device you're using, they'll use an Apple script, or they use Visual Basic, which is the coding language that sits kind of underneath Windows, Office, Microsoft Office, specifically Excel stuff. You do your more advanced stuff in Excel using VBA when cell formulas simply will not cut it. So that was one where, I mean, we are familiar with the concept of disabling VPN, not VPN. Don't disable your VPN. We're familiar with the concept of disabling VBA for your average user, because most people, I mean, I'd hazard 98% of people have no idea how to use it anyway. So it's just not necessary for them. But I think that sophistication piece, it's probably something that is surprising to anybody who's not thought too deep about the scenario, but given how few people in North Korea do have access to the internet and how state controlled it is, they're going to make sure that only the creme de la creme can actually get onto it, which really removes or not even just removes, completely eliminates the likelihood of clueless amateurs just screwing around with phishing kits that they've got off the dark web and doing stuff in essentially effectively an amateurish way. You know, these are people who have planned out their attacks and they really, really know what they are doing. I would go so far as to say, I think I would say the only reason that they are probably not the single biggest threat to Western technology is that they aren't big enough.
Yep.
But I would say with that, I would hazard that with their capability, they if they were 4 or 5 times the size that they are, they could cause much bigger problems than they already.
I mean, they'd be China then at that point, essentially, right? Which is another, like, they're in the conversation as a heavyweight threat actor, in my opinion, in this space. And to your point, doing a lot with a lot less resources available to them. They're not here to play around. As you said, the folks that get access to these tools, straight up, you're getting fed if you're good at this. So it creates a really hard funnel for folks to unfortunately then become good at bad things.
And if you want to be a heavyweight in the conversation around cybersecurity and you're enjoying this podcast, please do give us a like, tell us what you've enjoyed in the comments, and subscribe to the channel. That is the smoothest way I've ever managed to slip one of those in.
Salute, sir. That was
Joe Devine
take
from
take a left right there. That's no joke. Right there. Well done.
Joe Devine from the TIFO podcast would be very, very proud of me with that one.
There you go. Honestly, slipping that in.
I know. The final one on this as well. Well, actually, 2 things. I do find the collusion or collaboration of non-DPRK individuals, it's worrying. It's not unsurprising. Wait, no, it is unsurprising. Yeah. It is entirely unsurprising. It reminds me kind of what was that FX show, The Americans? Like Russian sleeper agents. It's kind of a bit like that, you know, the enemy is hiding within sort of stuff. The other bit as well, I think to me, it raises questions when they're using AI for the purposes of deep faking or creating fake identity documents and things like that. It kind of raises the question of what needs to be done in terms of the detection capabilities for background checking organizations, banks with know your customer and anti-money laundering, that sort of stuff. I think that's a big one, and that's something we're not going to solve here, but it's something worth pondering.
Yep. And it's an opportunity. I think it's a space within this space where if you have some good ideas and you're willing to innovate, I think you could provide a valuable service to a large range of customers.
Definitely. Okay, and moving on, my spotlight story. This is sad news that I'm actually surprised that you didn't float as your story. In fact, it completely flew under your radar.
Really did. I was depressed. I didn't want to see it, I think.
Darling of the cyber... Yeah, maybe you the brain just blanked it out. Darling of the cybersecurity industry, Jen Easterly, director of CISA, is to step down on Inauguration Day. I honestly can't really blame her with this. I don't think the prospect of being groped by Hegseth anytime she has a meeting at the Pentagon is particularly appealing for her, or the prospect that if she incurs the wrath of incoming DHS director Kristi Noem, she might come home to find her dog's dead. That sort of stuff is...
Wow, you went there. And it's very possible.
Hey, look, Kristi Noem has not ingratiated herself with half of the populace of this country, so I'm going to reserve the right to make Jokes about her killing her dog. More seriously, and she full on admitted it. More seriously, it's kind of, I think it feels quite reasonable for her to jump from an agency that might end up with its arms completely tied behind its back for the next 4 years, or as some of the rumors seem to be, that some Republican lawmakers want to do away with the thing entirely, which seems completely and utterly batshit.
It's bonkers, but I think the Department on Government Efficiency has started to make noise about this being one of the targets.
Do you see what Galloway said about that?
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah,
absolutely, yeah.
it's like the fact that you've got two heads of a Department of Government Efficiency says it all.
Yeah, and well, yeah, two heads, and also just, oh, that's a rabbit hole, my friend. I'm gonna try to pull up
steer around
on
that,
the stick here, but look at the history and the short history of this organization. It's a darling in the industry for a reason. This is one of those specks of hope in a public-private sort of partnership way, where guidance and good leadership here can open up a lot of avenues for just bringing up the floor of our security practices across the country in many different arenas. But if you also then, again, look back at that history, Krebs got marched out because he told the truth 2 administrations ago. And so it's unsurprising that she's saying, I'm going to get out before I have to face that bullshit.
And I think that could well be a very large part of it, is that she kind of values her integrity.
Sure.
So much so that she's not going to simply toe the line where, she doesn't think that what she's being directed to do is right, or that she effectively has to lie for the purposes of saving her own skin. I think she's got a little bit more self-respect than that.
I think there's a cyberpunk demographic that would absolutely vote for a Wyden Easterly ticket in 4 years, and I want to be the first one to float that out there into the universe. Please make it so.
I think that's a really, really that's a further shot than incoming North Carolina AG Jeff Jackson running for the White House in 28 or 32, which I would love to happen, because that guy is an absolute saint. But yeah, you follow his Instagram?
Absolutely. No, absolutely legit.
So good.
Yeah, for real.
So good.
And a breath of fresh air in a room that needs some mouthwash.
And he just screams trustworthy. Yeah. He's just so straightforward about everything that goes on. Yes. So the other aspect to I think the other aspect here with CISA, or specifically that she's not stepping down immediately, she is going on Inauguration Day, is probably using the next 2 months to get sort of metaphorically multiple rolls of packing tape and just wrap it around and around and around and around, so that everything that they have done so far, so that it makes it so difficult to dismantle, in the same way that when people reinforce the corners of cardboard boxes with that much tape, and you simply cannot get the box cutter in when you're trying to break them down.
I would liken it, and this is again with the stage of life I'm in, with baby proofing her previous work.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you make a good point there as well, in terms of the agency kind of being a darling, in terms of, I know that they're potentially a target of Doge here, and that there are people who consider any form of government at the federal level to be too much. But for those folks, I mean, for one, there's not an awful lot that they absolutely mandate. They simply recommend and strongly, what's the word, kind of strongly endorse people and organizations take on the best practices that they publish. But then also, I think they've sat there as an entity that, for the people who want to be better at this stuff, like organizations who want to be better at this stuff, but don't have the know-how and the wherewithal, they're a beacon of, oh, okay, this is the way that we're supposed to do it. I don't think it would go away completely, because allegedly Trump is supposed to be, when he moves back into the White House, is supposed to be going very secure the borders, digital borders, and focus on nation state type stuff. I think what they'll try and completely sort of rip out and eviscerate is basically anything that says what companies should or are obliged to do, which is very, very bad for the consumer, because that just means kind of like open season. We get the same sort of thing with that has happened with Change Healthcare not having multi-factor authentication on an administrator account. If nobody's telling them this is what you should really do, I mean, it's basically probably going to fall at the feet of the likes of Google, Amazon, Microsoft, Apple as the main platform providers to enforce that for the good of their own ecosystems. But it doesn't. Well, I mean, Microsoft are enforcing. They're saying multi-factor authentication. They are on Entra and Azure. They're saying from next year, multi-factor authentication, no matter what. We don't care where you are, whether you're on the network or whether you're on a VPN or whatever. You're going to have to do it in order to get in, which is a good.
Thanks for bringing us right to 2010, Microsoft. I appreciate y'all so much. And it's
what, 14 years too late to the party.
Not as though being used as a special sock by multiple Blizzard APTs didn't force that issue hard body last year. It's just they're just thought leaders. Okay.
Don't say that word.
Listen, I know, but like it's you want a cookie for finally doing the right thing, right? Like don't get me started on that.
You got so little sympathy for that. Not sympathy, just.
I'm sorry.
It's being done.
I'm sorry because when you go to talk to the leaders over there, they can't hear you through the fucking money phones that they
That's
have.
True.
So I have no sympathy.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you over the fluttering of the money counters.
Hold on, I'm crying. Let me pull out $100 bill and blow my nose. Like it's not. Listen. Yes, great, but not timely.
No, but if okay, my point here is, look, if there's going to be no central kind of body pushing this, then the big tech vendors saying, all right, well, okay, we'll enforce it then it's better than nothing.
So if the rule of law breaks down, then the cartels are.
Yes. If the rule of law breaks down, we have to. Yeah. If the rule of law breaks down, we're going to have to look to Tyrell Corporation and the friggin' and be saved by the Blade Runners. Like,
oh Jesus.
Anyway,
that's
right.
Where we are.
It's
happening. Cyberpunk is now.
maybe 2049 is a bit more of a prophecy than a work of fiction. Anyway, we'll leave it there because I think we've probably run further than we expected to with that one. As we say, if you have enjoyed this, please do give it as a like or a follow or a rate or a subscribe or on whatever platform it is that you're on that allows you to keep in touch with us and have our content appearing in your feed. Please do that, and we will be back again next week. It will be another short episode because it's right after Thanksgiving, and frankly, I'm not sure we're going to have the time to put together a feature, which is why we did a back-to-back feature last episode. So if you're interested in... What did we talk about last episode?
Life and our blessings.
Life. Oh, God, I don't need you getting all philosophical about it. What did we talk about? Why can I not remember the episode? Seasonal scams.
It was scam.
If you're interested, if you're interested in seasonal scams, and it's timely, right? You'll be watching or listening to this on Monday 25th. So right before Black Friday and Cyber Monday, Go and have a look at that. I'll put it somewhere. I'll put like a link in the YouTube somewhere here or something. And yeah, I'm not dancing. Crying out loud.
Too much of a gangster. I forgot. My bad.
Piss off. And with that, piss off. Yeah, bye. We'll see you again next week.
Adios.